The restaurant prices in Miami and Los Angeles are getting a bit out of hand. These upscale restaurants are charging $60 for pasta, $35 for burrata. Why is the pasta $60?
Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex and today we're going to be talking about restaurant prices that's going wild, I will say. Dining out is a new luxury right now. So eating out used to be a casual treat, now it feels like a luxury splurge. From fast food to sit-down spots, restaurant prices have skyrocketed, often without warning. A basic meal that one cost $5, $10 now pushed 20, 40, $50 easily, and do not even ask about drinks or tipping. Portions are shrinking, quality is inconsistent, and hidden fees like kitchen appreciation or service charges are showing up on the receipt. Many people walk away stunned by the bill, wondering how dinner for two turned into 70, 100, 150 expense. Inflation is real, but so is price going, and customers are catching on. While restaurants blame rising costs, chains are recording profits. Meanwhile, workers still struggle with low wages and long hours. The dining experience feels less about hospitality and more about maximizing margins. What used to be a simple night out now comes with a serious financial regret. So let's dive into the video, guys.
I need a quick second to go on a rant. I don't know what's going on, if it's the economy or life is just getting harder, period. But I just drove 20 minutes to go pick up some food. I called and ordered my food 20 minutes away. My meal, I got turkey, rice, this Haitian restaurant, $23. And y'all, this is the meat that they gave me for $23. 1, 2, and then bones, right? That's it. 2 pieces of meat, 2 pieces of bones. I'm like, no. I go back in there and I'm like, are you guys serious? I just drove 20 minutes to come here. This food is $23. You give me 2 pieces of turkey meat? She's like, oh, my bad. I'm so sorry. 1 second. Then they go to the back and give me this. Why wasn't it this to begin with? Like, life is lifing right now, guys. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if things are going to get better or what is happening. We can barely afford to, and I don't blame them completely because food is expensive. But it's like, how far is this going? I'm nervous.
It does not look good. Not even a little bit. Oh my.
Come on. Eat it slow so you can get the flavor for real. Like, maybe it'll seem like more than what it is if you eat it slow.
To talk about these McDonald's prices. I went to McDonald's today just to get some lunch. No intention to film a video. I got a double cheeseburger. I like it without ketchup. I think it's one of the best things on the menu at McDonald's. But the price caught me so off guard. This thing right here is $4.19. And I remember probably in high school, one of these was like $1, I think, before the McDouble was even invented. And I'm in Colorado. I don't know if that's why. I don't know if it's more expensive out here. But this thing right here for $4.19 is crazy. And don't get me wrong, I love these things. I get them all the time. I've been eating them for years. But $4.19 is too much. Now, to be fair, it is buy one, get one for $1. So $5.19 for 2 of these, which is still crazy. I don't know how McDonald's went from being the best value in food, not even just fast food, to now you can get 2 of these for essentially the price of like a Little Caesars pizza. You can feed a whole family, or you can get 2 double cheeseburgers. That's insane. I still love them. I will probably continue to get them. But honestly, it's hard to justify it when you can go to like any pizza place or even a place like Applebee's and get a slightly more expensive meal that is a meal, not a fast food burger. This is nuts. Something has to happen. I don't think it's going to. I guess it's McDonald's world and we're just living in it.
We went out to eat and could not believe this happened.
So that's like an app. They forgot the Tizer, the rest of it. Like, what is that?
This is what they call the $7 taco.
Yo, this is shrinkflation. Look at this. The lime is bigger. The lime is bigger.
Definite ripoff.
He calls fast food restaurants 197 likes. Well, I do, but this is a popular sentiment. I got a lot of comments like that. Talking about corporate level restaurants, McDonald's is considered a restaurant in the US? Haha, to be fair, I don't count McDonald's, KFC, and Starbucks as restaurants. He's obviously talking about franchises. Come on, if you told your wife you were going to go to a restaurant and took her to McDonald's, she'd be upset. And in context, this guy is saying restaurants are struggling, and I said, no, they aren't. And one of the pieces of evidence I showed was that a number of fast food restaurant chains were doing well.
The reason restaurants are struggling is because they're expensive and people don't have money.
He had said people don't have money, so they can't afford to eat out. That's why restaurants are struggling. So I was looking at inexpensive restaurants. But it's fair to point out those aren't the only kind. The Economic Research Service at the U.S. Department of Agriculture splits restaurants into two types. Full-service restaurants are where a waiter or waitress takes customer orders and payment is made after eating. Limited service restaurants include establishments where customers pay at a register before eating. So limited service would be stuff like the fast food chains I was talking about before. The USDA data has total spending at full-service restaurants and at limited-service restaurants, and they also have total food spending, so we can construct percentage of total food spending at full-service and at limited-service restaurants. And the data is reported monthly up to December 2024. So here on the x-axis, we have time. We're going back to 2000 up to December 2024, and on the y-axis, we have percent of all your food spending that's going to full service restaurants. And the takeaway here, we have the big drop for the pandemic and it climbs back up. It's slightly above the long run average. So the takeaway is just that actually people are spending more of their food budget on full service restaurants than they did pre-pandemic. And to repeat the test I did yesterday, I'll just look at the largest publicly traded restaurants in the US by market cap, but I'll ignore the limited service restaurants and just focus on the full service restaurants and see how their stock is doing. The S&P 500, an average of the 500 biggest companies, is up 13% over the last year. Darden Restaurants, that's Olive Garden, is up way more. So is Cheesecake Factory, Texas Roadhouse, and BJ's Restaurants. They're up, but less than the S&P 500, and Dave & Buster's is down. My point is, we have data showing there's a greater percentage of food spending going to full-service restaurants from the USDA. We have examples of major full-service restaurant brands doing better than the average big company. So I just don't think there's evidence to show that restaurants are especially struggling right now, struggling compared to how difficult it usually is to run a restaurant. Or if there is evidence, he didn't show any of it. And one comment that I wish I had taken a screenshot so I could show here, one comment said something like, well, your data isn't very good. You're just looking at 5 companies or something. And that's true. This is not a fully rigorous, scientific, thorough, whatever study or review of the restaurant industry. But one thing I wanted to point out is that it's more data on the subject than he's bringing to bear. He had no references, no data, no citations. He's just saying his impression. He thinks restaurants are struggling right now because of some reason. But he never showed any support for even the claim that restaurants are struggling. And so, yes, my review of the evidence is quick. It's not thorough. It's not fully rigorous. It's a small set of companies that I'm looking at and so on. But it's more than what he has. So I think if he convinced you, then I should convince you otherwise. And if you're not convinced by my evidence, you definitely shouldn't be convinced by his evidence. And that's really my goal here. Thanks for your time.
Gouging in Las Vegas is out of control. I was at the casino getting a coffee from Starbucks, $11 for a latte. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Maybe Starbucks is just gouging. No. I go to the food court at the Caesars Palace, 2 slices of pizza and a beer, $34. I'm like, okay, these casinos are already making billions upon billions of dollars from people coming to gamble, and they're still gonna upcharge food and drinks by 200%? I ordered 2 Mick Ultras from the casino bar, $30 for 2 beers. Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, you can get free drinks while you gamble on blackjack and lose $800. Whoop-de-doo. It's such a slap in the face because if you lose big in the casino, you then have to go pay for insanely overpriced food and drinks for the rest of the weekend. You want to go to the nightclub? $50 for a vodka soda. Hotel fees, resort fees, entertainment fees. You're paying triple what you expect to pay in Vegas without the gambling. So if you come here and you lose, you're fucked. You have to win at the tables if you want to have a decent Vegas trip. This was my first time ever profiting in Vegas, and I still feel like shit.
A lot of these new and modern aesthetic restaurants are the biggest ripoffs because I know that if I walk into one of these places and they have a QR code for a menu and metal stools for their seating, I'm about to pay $27 for like a tiny hamburger. Because my mom and I went to one of these restaurants and we walked in and they had a chalkboard for a menu. They had like a wall with like some foliage and like fake leaves and whatnot. And all the tables and seats, they were made out of like metal and steel, right? So we knew it was one of those like modern restaurants. And we sat down, you know, and we're looking at the menu. I kid you not, a chicken sandwich, just the sandwich itself, was $23. Like that didn't include a side and it didn't include a drink either. So it's like $30 for the entire meal. And like, so I ordered it, right? My mom got something else and it was the worst food we have ever had. Like it tasted awful. And then to add insult to injury, dude, the serving sizes were so small. Like the fries, they gave me like 12 fries maybe. The drink itself was small. They just filled it up with ice to the top. And the sandwich itself, it was so tiny. And I rarely ever go to these places because every single one of these modern restaurants that has like the same things with the steel seating, steel everything, QR codes, chalkboards, whatever it may be, they all have the same type of vibe and they just rip you off every single time.
So the first bit of food that we've purchased here in Vegas was at the New York Pizza Kitchen. Thank you. I got a slice of pepperoni sausage, it was $10 American. Shauna got a stromboli, which was $15.95. Just check the credit card statement. The conversion was $44 Canadian for a piece of pizza and a calzone.
So the wise guys, and let's continue watching the videos.
Restaurant prices in Miami and Los Angeles are getting a bit out of hand. These upscale restaurants are charging $60 for pasta, $35 for burrata. Why is the pasta $60? Why are 2 pieces of lamb $88? Since when is a dessert $40? Ever. Since when are we charging $12 for a bottle of sparkling and still, I know you buy it for $1, I own a restaurant. Then you're gonna slide the bill with a 20% auto gratuity, no questions asked. Auto 20% for absolutely mid-service is nuts. Worst part is nobody's saying anything, you're just eating it. You're just eating these bills. Let's rise up, let's start a revolution, do something. I'm gonna be paying $200 for pasta in 2028.
Have you ever wondered why your meal or drink costs what it does? Let's break it down, because most people have no idea where their money actually goes. You think that when you pay £100 for a meal, the restaurant just pockets it, but I'm afraid that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, most of that money is already spent before the food has even reached a table. Most successful restaurants follow what's called a 30-30-30-10 rule. Let's say you have £120,000 in revenue. Before it's touched, 20,000 has to go to HMRC for the VAT. This leaves 100K. So let's put that into a percentage, 100,000. So out of the 100% of the remaining figure, 30% goes to food and beverage costs. That's ingredients, sourcing, supplier pricing. And guess what? Food costs have been on a steady rise for the past few years. It makes it harder and harder to keep this figure in sight. Another 30% goes straight to wages, bartenders, chefs, waitstaff, managers. People say that service charge should help, but 100% of service charge and tips in the UK has to go to staff. In fact, the business has to cover the admin and the tax costs of processing those tips through the payroll. So in fact, it actually adds to our costs. More often than not, though, normally due to out of hours prep time and some other factors, this often creeps up to about 35%. Then there's the next 30%, rent, electricity, insurance, marketing, glassware, cutlery, cleaning supplies, basically anything needed to keep the doors open. That should leave 10%, if you're lucky. This needs to cover corporation tax. That's more like 8%. And that's only if everything runs perfectly. If all the other percentage go above 30% or we have a quiet month, then that profit can disappear and sometimes go all the way into the red. So next time you think a restaurant is overcharging, remember, most places are barely surviving. They're reluctant to put their prices up to make a decent living in case they outprice their customers. In fact, all of those costs, many restaurants, especially those within the first few years, are struggling to make any profit at all. They need consistent support and trade. Supporting local restaurants isn't just about giving them extra cash, it's about keeping them in business. So now that you know the reality, does this change how you see restaurant pricing? Let's talk in the comments and let me know what you think. And in the meantime, go and visit one of your local independents.
What's good, everybody? So let me drop this gem on y'all right quick. The restaurant industry, since COVID up to now, have been consistently taking hits. It's just like just when they thought that they was going to get a little bit of breathing room, something else happens. So we all seen what happened with the bird flu and the high price of eggs. Then you had Trump came in and he raised the price on the tariffs on these countries where we get some of our products and goods from. And it's just been hitting the restaurant industry so hard to the point that now they had no choice but to raise the prices on their food. And I'm talking about places like IHOP, Applebee's, just to name a few, that their prices have gone up. And also that it's also been reported that people are starting to either cut back on eating restaurant food, or when they do go to a restaurant, they're dining alone. So you're not seeing a lot of people go to these restaurants as a group or even sometimes with some dates because it's just so expensive now. And I don't blame some people for cutting back on things because it's like, hey, what can you do? So now you have that money that you was going to spend on going to the restaurant now. You said, you know what, let me take this money and let me go to the grocery store and buy some groceries that's going to last me and that's going to stretch. Also, when I saw this, it made me think about a while back when you had the thing on social media with the young lady when she was saying about how the guy was taking her to the Cheesecake Factory and that wasn't a good date. Well, now, because of these high-ass prices, you ain't going to the Cheesecake Factory because people are starting to cut back and guys are starting to cut back. So it's just a hot mess right now. Hopefully it gets better, but it's just like the old saying, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yes, Yvonne, it's 7:30, party of 5. Okay, Yvonne, I have you here. Yes, your reservation was at 7:30. It is 7:50 now. We can hold it for about another 10 minutes. We usually don't do this, but we are fully booked. It's a Friday night. At 8 o'clock, we will have to give your reservation away. No, I'm calling you as a courtesy to let you know that we are still coming to our reservation. You can't give away our table or our reservation when I made a reservation. I understand that your being late is frustrating for you. You made a reservation for 7:30 and we held up our end. Your table has been reserved and empty since about 6:45. At 8 o'clock, after we've held the table for all of that time, you've missed your reservation. You can't miss a reservation if you still show up for it. So you're gonna hold our table, and if I show up and our table is not waiting for us, I'm going to freak out. Yes, I can hear that a tantrum is coming. I get that you made a reservation for 7:30. You've missed your reservation for 7:30. How about this? How far away are you? We're going to be on our way in like 5 minutes. That both answers.
I'm not going to lie. This might be the whole reason right here. It's like restaurants went and raised their prices and forgot how to cook at the same time. Like, who's actually thriving here? I know the customers aren't, and I can't imagine.
Do something about the fact that every fucking where you go to eat now, the cheapest place you go to eat now, even fast food places, it's $23. Why is it always fucking $23?
There's a restaurant pandemic hitting Los Angeles right now. My name is Amir. I own a restaurant in Los Angeles, and I'm seeing it firsthand. Restaurants that have been around for 30, 40, 50 years, institutionalized, have stood the test of time, are now closing. Why? Is there a shift in laws, regulations, tipping, costs, labor? Grow out of a fad? Have people just got bored of these restaurants after 50 years? Like, why are these places that have never closed now closing? Your restaurant occupancy cost is higher than ever. Labor is higher than ever. Your food service, delivery, food costs, service fees are higher than ever. Your interest rate at the bank, higher than ever. And what? Your menu can only go up so much. So I don't know what's going to happen. You're seeing a lot of restaurants get away from that full service and going to that self-service because it's the only really sustainable way to continue. But you're going to see a lot of these mom and pop shops close down. A lot of these bigger brands shift their service and focus to pay first. I don't know. We'll see. It's a struggle bus. Everyone's fighting to survive.
Look at this and tell me what you think. This dude went out to a restaurant. The bill was $704, right? The restaurant added a service charge of $108. I don't know what a service charge is. I don't know what that is. At first I was thinking that it was something like a tip, to tip the server, but then this dude asks, is a $5 tip disrespectful or totally fair? You're not about to charge me a $108 service fee and still get a tip. You're not getting a tip. What is a service charge? I'm sure there's somebody watching this who is either currently working or has worked in the food industry, in the restaurant industry. What's a service charge and how is it different from getting a tip? And why on the Lord's green earth is it $108? I'm sorry, but if I go out to eat and my bill is already $704, and then on top of that you add a $108 service charge, not only are you not getting a tip, but I'm stealing some silverware. I'm stealing some plates. I'm stealing something.
Hey, thanks a ton for watching. I really appreciate all the likes, shares, and everyone who subscribed. Seriously helps the channel grows. If you're new here, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. I've got more videos coming your way soon. Take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.